Hello, welcome to Frame of Mind. My name is...
I mean, you're actually going to use it. I was just making a meme.
I thought it cued me in.
But you think that was quite good?
Hello everybody, welcome to Frame of Mind. My name is Ryan. I'm joined today by my wonderful co-hosts. If you boys want to introduce yourselves.
Go
Who's
first.
go first? I'll go first. All right. I'm Chappers.
That's
Yeah.
it, chaps. I'm Josh, or Yates. That's what these guys call me.
Yates. Hey baby. Yeah, I always call you Yates because there was for some reason you correlate in my head with the Yates in Hastings.
Well, the
Back
pub.
in the day, you used to go out clubbing,
Yeah.
cool and 18 and... No, it wasn't it was like it's a very British club. It's like a halfway between
You
a
mean
pub and a
Yates's?
club. So there's like...
You do? Yates
Yates's,
is the pub.
yeah.
It's a
So
pub,
there's-
bro. I know that because...
No, it's a pub / club because they got a big old like long bar that goes all the way around. You got all your straws,
I can't believe you're
vodka
arguing
bottles
with
and everything
the
on the back.
inventor.
But then in the other
there's one in
corner,
Colchester.
you've got like the pub TV where you put your sports and stuff on. So there's a split
Yeah, there's
down the
one in
middle.
Chappers.
You get all the old men on one side and all the youths on the other.
Look, mate, it's a family business,
There we go.
and if you haven't worked it out, my name is Yates. So you're
I'm
telling
actually
me
the
how
owner of,
to run my business and what my business is, which frankly is just insulting.
I mean, I only
Well, okay. Well, what
I
was
only
you?
call you Yates because I don't like calling you Josh because it's my name.
This is true. I
It's
actually
literally
forgot
the
your
only
name for a
reason.
second, and I was like, is he the same as me? But this is going to get confusing.
Yeah, I call you Yates because I thought Chappers would get upset, and I was right.
Yeah,
So there we go.
very much so. I get very upset with that.
for people that don't know, I think you just clarified that your name's Josh as well. But I was going to say for people that don't know, both of them are called Josh. I'm not. I'm different. I'm
Okay,
special.
moving on.
but
That's
these-
great. Excellent. What's next, Ryan?
Definitely special.
Okay. All right. So, firstly, what do we think about? So, I should probably explain what this sort of why it's called Frame of Mind, what we're thinking of doing. So, this is going to be a film podcast with us three, been mates for a while now. And we talk about all sorts of different stuff, but films is something that we talk a lot about. So we decided to do this podcast and, really, just get the information that we've got stuck in our heads out into the world. So to start with, I thought we'd talk about the fact that James Cameron is going to be re-releasing Avatar in China. And I posted a fat old message in our WhatsApp chat the other day basically saying, like, why I think he's doing it. And my theory is that, like Skyscraper, the Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson film that came out semi-recently, that they're just getting loads of Chinese backers. So, like, Skyscraper has no reason to be set in China. And because it is a very blatant rip-off of Die Hard, or what was it we called it the other day, chap? Hardly Dead. The rip-off.
It's the rip-off of Die Hard.
Hardly Dead. yeah, and the comedy rip-off. So so obviously, like, if this script looks so much like Die Hard, you go and show that to any American producer, even like someone as terrible as like Harvey Weinstein is still going to turn around and go, "This is a blatant rip-off of a classic film." So what did they do? They went to China and they said, "Look, give us a load of money and we'll make the movie in your country." And they said they went mad for it. So my theory is that James Cameron is basically reopening Avatar there, not just to get the top spot above Endgame as biggest movie of all time, but also because China's got a lot of money.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, he wants big dollar.
It's quite coincidental actually because me and my little brother watched Avatar literally like 2 days ago. So
Oh, really?
pretty much a day before you mentioned this whole re-release in China.
Yeah. How does that hold up now? Because I've not watched it in a long time.
To be fair, it is still a banging film. It is.
Yeah?
Yeah, it is very, very good.
Got a lot of hate, didn't it?
Yeah, not a lot of people liked
Yeah, I think it did because it's a story. It's a story that's sort of been done a lot of times before. I mean, it's a very blatant copy of both Pocahontas and Dances with Wolves, which is exactly the same story of moving from essentially one tribe to another and having to pick between one or
pretty
the
much.
other tribe.
It's definitely that classic story.
Cinematic marvel, wasn't it? It was like, wow, look what we can do with technology. Look how good it is. Wow, amazing. And
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
of it
but
was
like,
that,
you could say the same thing about The Matrix, but The Matrix was an actual story,
Yeah,
like a
of
new
course.
story.
But that was built off like our world, you know. But I feel like they created a whole new world, and it's pretty fucking cool, you know, flying.
Yeah. Oh,
That's-
yeah. Like visually stunning film, but all of the jigsaw and connecting the bloody the ponytails and all this sort of stuff. It's just a bit. I understand that James Cameron had to go and recreate a whole new world, and I don't have a problem with the fact that it was just one film. But now he's going to go and make like 4 more or something, or 3 more. Or something
That's
like
something I don't quite understand.
Yeah, this is what I don't
Yeah.
get: is why make a franchise from a set of movies that people were fairly underwhelmed with after the fact. At the time, supposedly there was this whole like psychological effect of people being really bummed out by the fact that they knew that life was never going to be as great as it is in
I think
Avatar. Like that was something that was happening at the time, is people coming out of the cinema and actually getting depressed that they're never going to see a world
Well,
like
and
that
also-
and stuff, which to me is a little bit
Yeah, but
mad. But
in the same sense as a storyline, after rewatching the first film, you get to the end, and obviously it is set up to kind of go into the next one because Jake Sully's put into his avatar body.
Jake
Oh,
Sully.
Jake Sully
Sorry. Jake Sully
is like transferred into his avatar body for good or whatever.
yeah.
Like
He just
becomes the
becomes-
avatar. So it's
becomes
set up
that,
for a next
yeah.
one. But like story wise, I don't actually think there's anywhere else it could go. Like I don't know what
I'd like him to
content
pull
you can get
like,
out of it.
I think it'd be funny. It'd be funny if they pulled a Star Wars and just did the same story again. So he's Avatar, and then he just decides to go back
That
to
could
being
work.
human.
That could work.
So the whole thing, they fly back like hundreds
That's
of
what
years
I was
later
gonna
or
say. I was
something, and
gonna-
the Earth is completely decrepit. You know, lizard people are walking around. He's like, I fancy being a lizard, actually. See you later, blue boys. Just transforms into the next set of
I
people.
was gonna like
That would be good.
I was going to compare Star Wars and Avatar. Regarding the world building and what he wanted to do with it. He's got confused, I think, or he's thought that, like Star Wars, where you've got these interesting characters, worlds, the world building itself, and a good story and stuff that people are invested in, that he thinks, oh, just because I've done this cinematic Marvel and all that stuff, everyone's interested in all that. But in reality, they're more interested in the, wow, that looks cool.
Yeah.
Whereas-
This is it. Yeah.
He's only got half of what he needs to build this world, this franchise, for people to actually be interested.
Yeah.
in it.
I mean,
Saying that, people are still going to go and see it.
one of the beautiful things
am.
about
Oh yeah.
what you mean the next set of Avatar films? Like, yeah, I'll see them, but like, I don't know if it's safe for a filmmaker to base his like the next step of his career all on just intrigue. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one's going to see
Yeah.
Avatar because they love the Avatar franchise. Because one, it's not a franchise yet, and two, it's been like over 10 years or something since it came out. It's
It has
definitely
been an
over a
awful
decade.
long
It's
time.
been like, let me have a look. See. Oh, I'm on full screen actually. Would someone mind doing a
It
Google?
probably was actually
2010, wasn't it?
I wanna-
2010.
I
I wanna-
was going to say
2010.
2011, but yeah, 2010 sounds right.
I think you're right. I think it's 2011, maybe.
We shall.
Let's have a look, see.
We're going to find out. I'm not going to use my keyboard because I've got a mechanical one and they don't want to hear.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't say.
2009.
They don't want to hear. Gives example.
2009.
2009.
Gives example.
Really, 2009.
2009 it was released.
That's
Yeah,
mad.
18th of December 2009.
Interesting.
I still can't believe that. Right, so Chris Evans is a character in The Losers, right? I don't know if you boys have seen The Losers. It's a really good film, but
I'm looking at
Oh
it.
yeah, I love The Losers.
it's a great film. We watched it, didn't we? A long time
Yeah,
ago.
hilarious film.
Yeah, so like Chris Evans is brilliant in that. Only a year later, he's Captain America. In my brain, those two are much further apart, right? But then the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. He's in Tropic Thunder, and a year later, he's Iron Man. But I swear,
fucking mad.
I swear, there's like a massive gap between Tropic Thunder and Iron Man.
Yeah,
like-
I imagine Tropic Thunder being years, like 10 years before.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But 10 years before would be 97. Like-
Yeah, I thought it was like a 90s film. Like,
yeah,
I genuinely
it's
would have
definitely.
put Tropic Thunder in the 90s,
No.
but it's not. It's early 2000s.
Yeah, I think it's shot digitally as well. So it definitely couldn't be. I think but anyway,
Oh,
so
no,
this
yeah,
it's
no,
like
no,
2006, and Iron Man is 2007. And I just think it's mad to think that he went from playing which is, let's be honest, like the Jesus of our generation. Like kids have grown up looking at the gospel of Iron Man, going through everything and right up to the end and saving the world and everything. I was thinking the other day that it must be incredible to have that childlike like not a cynical outlook at life. So you sort of, when you go and watch a movie, you see the tropes, right? We all see the tropes when we go and see it. You're like, oh, I've seen that a million times before. You know, two characters are about to go into battle. You know, only one of them's probably going to come out. So one says, "Give this to my mum," and he's like, "No, you give it to yourself. You're going to make it," and then he ends up dying or whatever. Like, that's such a classic trope, and there's millions of tropes like that. But what would be beautiful is when you're a kid, you don't see that stuff, and then you go and see Endgame. Imagine seeing Endgame like I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. That changed your world. That would actually change your world. I think we're in a strange little patch where like film has been messed around with a little bit too much, sort of in our generation. So we've gotten some real crap, but very soon we're going to start coming back to this sort of age of like before in like the 80s and the early 90s, where there was just like finessed films over and over, because for the last like 20 years it's been about 50-50. You get some great movies, but original screenplays are getting less and less and less and less, and more of like Skyscraper and stuff. This just regurgitated Hollywood crap that people are okay with watching, but it's not really making a difference. It's not getting people like riled up and ready to make films and stuff like Star Wars riled up Jon Favreau, you know, like sort of thing. I don't know. I mean, for us, and I'm sure there are a few people out there who really get excited by these sort of films and stuff still, the same way it would have done back in the day. Go on, Chuck.
What you're saying is happening with this whole superhero regurgitated bullshit films is what I feel like happened with horror movies in the past 5-10 years. Because
I agree.
Horror movies, the reason so many are made is because they're cheap to make and they make so much fucking money. And that's why they're all, and literally I feel like they've started to die down recently, and we've started to get better ones because people have realised, they're all exactly the same. Yep. And so people have run out of ideas for the shitty small horror films. So that's kind of dying out, and now the same thing's going to happen.
I'd say you can see it with films like Saw and stuff like that. Like, nobody wants to watch a Saw film anymore. No one. I don't even know if anybody goes back and watches Saw films. Like, I remember my cousins.
I mean, there's so many of them as well.
Yeah, I
and
honestly,
they're bringing out a new one that
no,
I believe what's his face? I forget his name.
It's got to be an entirely new narrative. Like,
someone's taken
none
over.
of the old characters or anything like that.
It's coming from.
They're only alive. Are there any characters alive left in the Saw universe?
Well, I think it's a new story.
I thought you meant like actors. You mean characters?
Well, to be fair,
Chris Rock. That's who it is. Chris Rock
is going to be in.
Yeah, is directing a new Saw film called Spiral, which is from the Book of Saw.
Spiral.
So it's technically its own film, but it's taken from the Book of Saw.
Oh my
And Chris
God.
Rock is greenlighting it. It has greenlit it, sorry.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Green Lantern. Then I was going to say that's a movie.
Chris Rock as Green Lantern.
Chris Rock. That would be sick. I'd watch that. that.
Yeah, I'd watch that definitely.
Now, I think seeing as we've shifted to superheroes, very obviously, we should talk about the elephant in the room. WandaVision's finale.
Where?
WandaVision's finale.
Oh no! Wait.
Have you not seen it yet?
When was the finale? Fuck. When was that?
That was last week's one.
Last week's one.
Last Friday.
Oh,
you have seen it, haven't you? Yeah.
Yes, I have seen it.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
cool.
So
Alright,
you better have seen it because we mentioned it now. We're going to talk about it.
Let's just say, spoiler alert, because... Spoiler alert. Let's be real.
Okay,
we're not going to
sure
pussyfoot around
I have
this.
watched it. Big spoiler.
Go on then. Wanda dies.
Spoiler alert. Wanda dies. White Vision is made by the White
Vision.
Synthetic Vision, and they fight each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, they fight each other for about a minute and then have a really deep combo. Like, that's a podcast I can listen to.
They come together and they go inside one another. Not in that way.
No,
wait. In way.
They do. To be fair, that fighting and having them, like, every time they go up against each other, there was something about the fact that maybe they... Like, one of the smart things about that WandaVision finale, because there's a lot I didn't like about it, and I think we've already talked about the fact that they keep leaving it open to what they're doing next. They've done a bit of a Batman vs Superman, but I'll come back to that in a minute. Basically, I think they were smart in how quickly they dropped White Vision in, because by doing that, they give the fans no time to go, oh, his powers will be the same as Vision's, and Vision, they're fighting the two together. They'll never be able to actually beat each other. But one of them's got like an actual power source, and the other one's got a fake Mind Stone. So like, is that what's going to happen? What's going to happen there, sort of thing? And it turns out that White Vision can't really beat actual Vision. It's the hex being destroyed that starts like taking like parts of his body apart, which is why he falls out of the sky and all that sort of stuff. But I thought it was really clever that they gave such a tiny amount of time and so much more information from like the episode before the finale that nobody was thinking like, oh, what's going to happen when White Vision goes up against Vision? Because when they do, it's a great fight. Before they start having their chat and stuff, they're like phasing through each other and trying to shoot each other and everything. And they even did at one point the thing where he like grabs him by the head, like he does with Ultron. I think like when he tries to like lock him out of the system or whatever. Yeah,
it's that classic like two hands on the head, sort of trying to get into their mind.
Yeah.
He does. Yeah. I also like the fact that White Vision grabs the Mind Stone to kind of rip it out. Like Thanos did in Endgame. I think that was a nice,
he
nice
does.
Pointer.
Yeah, that was very cool. Yeah, he instantly goes for it as well. I was like, oh shit, like straight away. So
literally, like seconds into the fight, they fly up and they straight away grab it.
Yeah, because he goes for it then, like immediately, because that's sort of what they're trying to get out of him still. Yeah, he's this advanced robot, but they're still trying to get the stone out of him because now he's got the stone again. When they were taking his body apart to start off with, obviously he didn't have the stone in his head, so that makes sense that this robot is trained to do that. But I like that he instantly applies logic to White Vision.
With that stoner thought, the deep thought, and he's just like, but I'm not really real.
Yeah.
So what am I and what are you?
And the whole boat of Theseus or whatever it was called, that whole like analogy.
Yeah, very good analogy.
Yeah,
to describe the two of them
in
that situation. Yeah, the whole paradox of it.
Bye, Josh.
Yeah,
Bye.
Absolutely brilliant.
It's just
He's
gone.
Just walked off.
What? That's professional.
I just why I would like 1 sec. I was just
okay.
Sorry, there was a draft coming in. I didn't want. There was a giraffe coming in through the door. It was huge.
Drafty.
I didn't want to let him in.
I like that wood poster, by the way. That's pretty sick.
Wood post?
Well, the wood poster you got behind you for the skateboard thing.
The wad.
Wad. Sorry.
Wad.
Wad.
I'm actually making a skateboard right now.
Oh, nice one.
It's got lyrics on it and stuff.
Oh, sick.
And
that looks really cool, man. I like that. It'd be a shame to see that get scratched up somewhere.
Most people just put it on their walls.
Yeah, I've got one of Mel's old skateboards somewhere. I'm going to stick that. I was going to use it as a prop, but it looks quite cool. I might just stick some more stickers on it and put it on my wall. But
anyway, that's unrelated.
Very unrelated. So,
no one cares about
WandaVision.
WandaVision.
WandaVision. WandaVision. So, I like that with the Vision stuff. I think it was cool. I think that's about as far as the episode went well, in my opinion, was the stuff they did with Vision. Because I also think that Paul Bettany is a better actor than what's the face that plays WandaVision? Wanda.
You're going to keep saying Vonda now.
Vonda. Yeah. So
I do also love that Paul Bettany teased the fact that he'd be working with an actor that he absolutely loved and
I totally forgot about that
in an interview. And it turns out that the cameo he was talking about was himself.
That's brilliant.
I was like, what a lad for just really like throwing out a tease to everyone and like getting people to question whether or not like someone great was going to turn up at the end to help out, if it's Doctor Strange or whoever. And it just turned out to be himself that he was looking forward to work with.
They did do well at teasing stuff. But like, so I mentioned a minute ago about the whole Batman vs Superman sort of idea that I'm playing around with. I don't know if I've said this to you yet, Yates. I know me and Chappers had a little chat about it, but basically, in Batman vs Superman, you've seen it, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
Yeah. So you know, like for example, the Flash turns up out of nowhere. He sort of turns up, there's like a little wormhole that's made in the Batcave, and the Flash pops his head through, says something to Batman. Batman's like, what the fuck? Like, well, who's this sort of thing? What are you doing? And then disappears again. And that's sort of DC trying to prepare you for what's to come. But they did it with no no other movies. They did it with like their first like sort
Popped
of
out
proper
nowhere.
like
I don't even remember
clash
that
together. Yeah, he literally, and he's got like a different suit on and stuff as well. So obviously they were planning in the future to have the Flash get the right suit to go back in time. I don't know much about the Flash, but I know that
happening.
at some point in time he gets a suit that uses the energy that he has.
Do they reference it in this TV show?
I don't know.
you know,
No.
the
It's the actor from the movies, not the actor from the TV show.
Oh, is that different to the one from the TV show?
Yeah,
Different-
yeah, they got
different
different.
actor,
yeah.
yeah.
Have you ever seen the
Oh.
comparison of the costumes? The TV show
No.
costume is terrible. I mean, I don't think the DC movies costume is that good, to be honest. But the costume for the TV show is like literally lycra. It's it's so shit.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Flash turns up, no explanation. It fills up movie time. It fills up audience time. You're sat there going, "Why do I need this information?" And at the end, you're still sat there going, "Why do I need this information?" Now, let me put that into the context of WandaVision. When Viz gives White Vision back all of his memories, Vision should go to Wanda and say, "White Vision is basically your husband, by the way. I'm not real. Peace out." That's what should happen. He should go.
That would have made for a
That would-
better ending.
Yeah, it would have made so much more sense because then she's actually going to look for something. You know, instead, apparently she's looking for her kids that didn't exist to start off with, the same way Vision didn't exist to start off
Yeah,
with.
I do
So,
agree
like,
with you that
it
she
doesn't
was
make
told
sense.
nothing about it, so
Yeah.
now she's off on her own,
Yeah.
not knowing that White Vision knows everything there is to know about being Vision.
Exactly. So now you have this thing where White Vision's character is now open to the elements, similarly to how they throw Flash into Batman vs Superman. But nothing comes of it because he just goes, "Oh, I've got my memories back. Peace," and just flies out. He's just gone, and he doesn't come back. And it's like, well, where's that storyline gone? What? What do you mean? You've just given a character we all love all of his memories back. You basically said, okay, Vision is alive in the MCU again. Like, he's not actually dead. He actually managed to survive Thanos crunching his noggin. And for some reason, they choose to not do that. Same with the dick joke, turning Quicksilver into a boner joke. That
really did piss me off.
Yeah, that pissed me off as well.
Yeah,
I couldn't
was
believe
so
that.
vexed at that.
I couldn't
I
believe
missed
that. Was that? You missed the
Yeah.
boner joke?
A boner joke.
Yeah.
What?
So in WandaVision, Quicksilver is keeping Rambo, the black chick with the new like Captain Marvel type powers, is keeping her like locked away in this house. And what Rambo starts working out from like the bits of paper in the room and stuff that Quicksilver's the person who has become Quicksilver for Wanda is just another person in the town. And that guy's name is Matt Boner, spelt Bohner. And that is as far as Quicksilver goes. It's not real Quicksilver. He's not being like taken from the multiverse. She didn't split the multiverse accidentally and take him from somewhere else. It's not her dead brother with a different face. It's none of that. His name is literally Matt Boner, and she gave him superpowers. For what reason?
Oh.
Like, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And
Yeah,
I
it
really
was-
think
it was
they rushed it.
Very much pointless
Yeah,
for the whole thing.
it wound me up.
And it was such a big reveal as well.
It did.
Like there was
Yeah, It was.
no lead up to it. That no sort of rumours going that Evan Peters going to turn up in WandaVision.
Yeah.
It just happened. Everyone was so shocked by it, and then instantly theorising whether or not it was X-Men Quicksilver or MCU Quicksilver,
why-
blah blah blah, whatever.
Why
And then
give
it
us
just
that?
turns out to be a dick joke.
Exactly. Why give us that if you're just not going to use it? Like, unless like something to do with Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness is going to happen where she's actually going to meet the real Quicksilver and he's not going to have anything to do with it, any idea of what's happened like previously. But then that both contradicts what they've created to start off with by saying, oh, his name is actually just Matt Boner and he's not a superhero whatsoever. And then on top of that, it's the Batman vs Superman thing again. They've just left the storyline open for stuff to come without telling us what's to come in any way, shape, or form. You know?
Yeah.
So either he'll turn up again and they've made a cock up, or he won't turn up again, and they've made a cock up. That's how I see it. They just cocked it up either way.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yates,
But,
how did you miss that?
I'm just an idiot, and I probably wasn't giving it my undivided attention.
That's fair enough.
Sorry, Ryan, it won't happen.
It better not.
I'm getting the slipper. You're getting a whooping.
I'll make sure to make
I must say,
notes.
on the contrary to the whole Evan Peters disappointment,
Yeah.
the Monica Rambeau character arc I
What the fuck?
very
Yeah.
much enjoyed.
I did like her transformation.
It
It didn't go anywhere.
the transformation.
Well,
Well,
yeah,
she,
I want more.
Yeah,
I guess
exactly.
that's the thing.
I agree.
She doesn't do a lot with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
But I think arguably she has literally just got those powers. So
Yeah, but they've
probably
just set her up,
doesn't
and then it
know.
feels like she's just kind of pondering around.
Yes, agree.
yeah.
100% agree. She's just standing around. She's
Yeah,
just
like,
standing
bro,
around. They go
you
up
got
against.
fucking
She goes
superpowers.
1v1 with the police and just sends the kids to do it and stands there. It's like, did you just run out of budget? What happened?
Yeah.
Like, surely the budget for the
Yeah,
CGI
no,
on
I
those
do
two
think-
little boys is exactly the same as the budget for CGI on her. So why are
I
they
do
making?
definitely
just
think
waiting.
This doesn't make
that
sense.
there's more to come from the Rambo storyline.
Yeah,
because obviously in the
definitely,
comics she does
definitely.
go on to take over from
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Yeah, so
We've got that to look forward to, I think.
Yeah,
But
so
again, where they've left it open, it didn't kind of show off enough to start with.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the whole the bullets flying through her bit was absolutely amazing. I
Yeah.
thought that was sick.
Yeah, it was awesome.
How she slows down the velocity of those bullets.
I thought she was going to go one
but
to
then that
one
was
with.
it.
I thought she was going to go 1-to-1 with White Vision. I thought that would have been amazing. Like Vision.
Well,
Vision,
see, I
Vision,
wouldn't-
Vision couldn't fight properly, or technically hasn't actually got all the powers because Wanda didn't. I don't know. Didn't make him to be a weapon. She made him to be her husband. So actually, he's not as powerful as we think he is, sort of thing. WandaVision. Well, I keep saying the full name. White Vision puts him in the ground and got like you're done for now, sort of thing. Slams him into the ground or whatever. And then Rambo comes along and goes, right, I'm going to square up with this guy now. Bang, 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 bang. She manages to beat White Vision, telling the audience that she's more powerful than what we know as Vision, right? That would be great to see her
Yeah.
fly up in the air, like glowing, like all blue or whatever, like her hair going all crazy, like they did Captain Marvel's hair, where it sort of floats when she's in space and stuff like that. That would look incredible. That would look so good.
See, it would
But
do, but I'd think that would be too big of a jump, bearing in mind that she has literally just got her powers.
Yeah. that's
Well,
true.
I think,
So,
but they do that a
like-
lot though. They did that with Scarlet Witch originally when she gets her powers in Age of Ultron.
To be fair, these are
They
super
throw her in
weapons.
with all of the robots attacking Sokovia. or
Yeah, but
whatever it's
that's been explained because of her emotion.
called.
That she's able to deal
it's
with that
been
because of the
retconned.
emotion.
It's been retconned so they could make a TV show. I think that's what you mean. Oh yeah, she was a witch the entire time. She was a
Well,
witch.
yeah.
She was a witch the entire time, lads. It's got nothing to do with the fact that the Witches of Sable is all in America and she's a Russian little girl. She was a witch the entire time. It just doesn't. It just means nothing. It just drives me up the cocking wall. Anyway, Atlantis.
We've got onto Atlantis all of a sudden.
Yeah, well,
Tell
they've got to
me
make the
about
segue at
it.
some point, and I thought I'd go from one piece of made up bollocks to something that might not be made up bollocks. So, for anybody that doesn't, well, nobody would know this because I spent last night finding out that Atlantis might be real.
Finding out.
Doing my research on the
Definitive.
internet. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I'm not going to go into like a massive amount of detail because honestly, every time I learn something really cool like this, I could just go into it for hours just thinking about all the possibilities of it. But essentially, there is a I don't even know where to start with this. You know the philosopher Plato. You guys have heard of the philosopher Plato, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I can't remember if he's Greek or not, but I'm going to say he is. So this Greek philosopher, he basically said like Atlantis is real, but we don't really have any proof of it because like 9,000 years ago, which was about 2,900 years ago from here, so about 11,900 years ago from now, there was a cataclysmic event that changed how the Earth like that, how civilization works, how like the environment works, everything. Like back then, the Sahara was covered in trees, and there were still massive amounts of ice caps that needed to melt and stuff like that to create the world that we have today. What happened in this cataclysmic event, and it's very, very obvious that there was an incredibly advanced civilization already existing on Earth. Now, the reason why they know this is because up until that point, the only people walking around on Earth were hunter-gatherers. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes this absolutely massive, like, this is a place that's like 10 times bigger than Stonehenge in Turkey, right? It's massive. And that Stonehenge is made 4,000 years later. So this is 4,000 years before Stonehenge, 10 times the size, and all of these rocks and everything have been made with chiseling, and they're proper, they're actual square rocks and everything. Like they definitely would have needed to be like proper engineering to go into creating this thing, which is something like hunter-gatherers didn't just wake up one day and go, we can do this now, you know, which means somebody else already knew how to. And the theory is they are the survivors of this destroyed civilization. Now, the guy that I was listening to, Graham Hancock, is a very, very clever bloke. He basically said, if this cataclysmic event happened now, which in theory the cataclysmic event that happened was an asteroid came down, and it was big enough to do a decent amount of damage, but it exploded above the ground, so it didn't actually hit, but it exploded above the ground and wiped out like a massive amount and earthquakes and everything, and basically set off a chain reaction, similarly to like if Yellowstone went off now. That would set off a volcanic chain reaction that would set off like all the volcanoes on Earth at the same time, and basically put our entire planet into a big cloud of smog. But yeah, so this where was I? Graham Hancock and so when the asteroid, if an asteroid came down on top of us now, the people that would survive would be these like hunter-gatherer tribes that live out on these random little islands and in the Amazon and stuff. None of us would, because we're not prepared for it. Cities are only ever stocked up for about 2 days worth of food for the entire population, you know? So if an asteroid came down and wiped out what we now know as civilization, 9,000 or 11,000 years from now, like we're looking at this point, the only people that could tell stories of what the Earth were like are these hunter-gatherer tribes. And they don't have phones, they don't have computers, they don't have anything. And they would be the proof we existed. Think about that 11,000 years ago. It's a very, very, very high chance that there was a thingy, what's it called? A thingy civilization, advanced civilization, 11,400 years ago that got wiped off the Earth, and the only proof we now have of it is human beings still, and this big stone structure in Turkey. That's it. But the funniest thing, the strangest thing about it is Plato. We only know this now, that this sort of stuff happened, because we have the right geographical technology to do it. We have like LiDAR and stuff like that, which is like laser assisted radar, which can scan the ground without having to get rid of all the trees and stuff. So in the Amazon, we're finding out that there's tons more cities and stuff that were like the same size as London back in like the 1600s and stuff like that, like all over the Amazon, which is incredible. Unfortunately, none of those people survived in the Amazon because the Spanish went over there and gave them all Spanish flu and they all died, which is really unfortunate. But at one point in time, the Amazon was abundant with people. Like loads of people lived there, which is really cool. But yeah, so this essentially, Plato said that there was a cataclysmic event 9,000 years before he turned up. He knew that from what the Egyptians had been saying, because apparently they had all this stuff on all their walls inside one of their pyramids or something that had all this stuff to do with Atlantis and this previous civilization and everything. He told the story, and people theorized that it was like a political statement rather than anything else, when in actual fact, he was trying to tell the truth of this real civilization that had existed before, and the reason, he knew that from what the Egyptians had said. We know he was almost spot on his timing from perfect geographical technology now. He didn't have that technology 9,000 years ago. but he was spot on when the cataclysm happened. How?
I mean, that's pretty ingenious.
Yeah, how? So like it's so like for me, that's blindingly obvious that there is a missing civilization in our evolution. I'd love to know more. I really would love to know more, but that's basically as far as they've gotten in ahead of it. And people are even starting to slag off what this Graham Hancock is starting to say. I think it's Graham, but yeah, it's just Anyway,
that's pretty immense.
It's pretty sick,
Like,
isn't it?
just thinking that, I mean, because obviously I'd say we're rather advanced now, but that's because it's life now. But just thinking that there may have been civilization, however many thousand years ago, that were sort of equally as advanced for that time anyway.
So it's not very.
Obviously, they weren't walking around with iPads and God knows what.
So one of the interesting things that Graham Hancock said was loads of people say like, oh, if there was this advanced civilization, why don't we find plastic bottles from like 11,000 years ago and stuff like that? And he said something so simply, maybe they didn't bother with plastic. Maybe they were that advanced. They went, we're not going to ruin the earth with plastic. We're gonna keep using natural materials and stuff like that. There's a whole other thing about the fact that at the top of the pyramid, above the king's chambers, are like 22 70-ton granite pillars. And to give you an idea how much 70-ton is, that's about 35 big SUVs. Each one of these things is massive. Physically, to get something like that to the top of the pyramid, they would have needed a ramp that could only go at a 10-degree incline. How big would that ramp be? That ramp would be massive, and it would still be there. So how did they do that?
You could imagine some like ancient civilizational. That's not even a word.
Civilizational.
Civilizational. Yeah, don't know what that is. That's not even a word.
Yeah.
But like some ancient like construction worker, I guess.
Yeah.
Just pulling up on
worker.
Yeah.
He's got some 4B2 on his shoulder. He's just
they would have had job roles, I guarantee.
I guess so. Yeah.
He just pulls up on a crane made of like bamboo and rocks.
No, there's no way a crane made of bamboo. Oh man, just being pushed by they haven't got wheels, so they've just got a boulder that needs to be taken out the front and put at the back, and they just keep going around in a circle.
This is what I'm getting at, is that just wouldn't happen. So
this is it.
The technology that they would have come up with to help them lift such heavy pillars would have been like outstanding for them, but probably the most simplest thing that we've seen in our lifetime.
Well, like we could have already surpassed that whatever technology it was that they used to do that, and not even really thought about it, because we weren't trying to make these ridiculous well, not ridiculous, these incredible like religious symbols and stuff. Like the pyramids are a massive burial like a massive tomb. That's all they are. Those pyramids are just for burying one bloke.
So imagine what else they had.
What? All that work to bury one guy. It would have had to start when he was born for them to get it done in time. What logic is that? There is definitely like 110% something else out there, and I would love to know where the human race is going to end up in like 5,000 years time, or like if we're ever gonna like meet an alien race or go out into the universe and inhabit another planet or anything like that. I'd love to know that stuff, but because we're not gonna live to that point, I think I'm now becoming a lot more interested in what's happened behind us. I never used to be interested in history, because at school all they ever want to teach you about is like the wars and stuff, and like I wasn't that interested. I was about as interested in war as like when I was playing Call of Duty. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think war's quite interesting.
I know it is interesting. It is very interesting. It's very smart, and some of the tactical maneuvers and stuff they've made. But like the war stuff that I'm interested in is like there's a documentary on Netflix at the moment all about the wars in Japan in like the 1500s or even before that sort of thing. And it's really, really interesting on like how these tacticians came to be and how they knew what they were doing and stuff like that. But like, I don't know, I'm not that fussed with learning about World War II and stuff, but this like Atlantis being possible and all this other shit just really blows my mind. I find it so interesting.
Yeah, I must say it's definitely, and I mean, I appreciate people theorizing what may happen in the future, where the human race may end up. But I mean, I'm not going to be around to see that.
Yeah.
So, what's the point?
Yeah.
So it is definitely more interesting looking backwards at where we've come from.
I mean, I wouldn't say what's the point.
And kind of comparing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say what's the point.
No, I mean, I say what's the point. It's just like, I mean, a lot of it is looking far enough forwards to make changes now to prevent certain things or whatever, which is great, makes perfect sense. Like, obviously, changing global warming is a massive one. And materials we use, etc., fossil fuels, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
We need to change our ways to be able to progress in such a way.
Yeah.
So I understand all of that, but then you get people theorizing like alien races coming down and invading, or like civilization.
Well, I mean,
on Mars, which is obviously a big thing at the moment. They're looking into how Mars can be.
Yeah. I think it's very hard.
But that's not going to happen in my lifetime.
Oh no,
So
hang on. I mean,
you'll
I
see
think
humans
that
on Mars
interesting.
in your life.
I think we'll see. I think
people living on Mars.
we will see.
You really
people,
think so?
Yeah.
I think we'll see
100%.
people living
But
on Mars.
I think by 2030, there's going to be the first people will have stepped foot on Mars, and because it's such a long trek, this is why we're sending so many drones out there.
Yeah,
we can't go to the moon. Like we went to the moon, we can't go to the moon and come back. We can't. If we go to Mars and come back, that's like a 10-year trip. It's like It's like
2035, 2040.
It's I think. Yeah. Maybe you're right. Maybe it's a little bit longer than 2030 because we're already in 2021. But
it's going to be another 5-10 years.
There's already like tons of they've already sent tons of stuff to Mars and gone like this place is hospitable enough for us to live on. There is signs of water. Yeah, it's ice. It's glacial ice water, and that means that there might not necessarily be anything living on Mars unless stuff can live at that lower temperature. But there's still water on Mars, which means that we are 100% going there. I think in our lifetime we will definitely see people landing on Mars, like 100%. And
I agree with you there that we'll definitely see people on Mars, which will be an absolute sight to withhold.
Oh, you mean a civilization?
But actually be living on Mars.
Like
people
a colony,
like us, colony on Mars won't be happening for a very long time.
No.
Yeah, maybe they'll put down the foundations. They might put down the foundations for it.
This is the thing. You send astronauts up there, they'll be living up there for a good, like, however long, 10 years possibly, getting stuff ready. And then, like you say, the traveling.
When you get to Mars, put the kettle on, and I'll be there in a bit.
Stick the kettle on. I'll be there in 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, it's got to be a slow kettle. It's a Wilco's kettle. That'll take 10 years. Oh man.
Yeah.
But
no, I mean, like it's very interesting seeing where the human race could be going, but I'm not as interested in that as I am stuff that's happened in the past.
Where we've been.
Yeah, because like knowing where we've come from and the progress that we've already made, I feel far more interesting than the progress we could be making.
Yeah.
But haven't yet, because that's still theory. There's like we don't know where things are going.
There's no point trying to figure out what the puzzle looks like without all the pieces. That's it. At the end of the day, we're trying to figure out who we are and what we're about without necessarily knowing what came before us. And I think we are a generation, or not generation. I think we're a race of amnesiacs. You know, we forget what we've created. If you think back the last just 60 years, what pops into your head is both world wars, 9/11, you know, maybe a couple of the presidents, maybe a couple of the prime ministers as well, you know, we don't remember things by the year after time. Like COVID and lockdown will be the next thing that sticks in history for a long time because it's never happened before. But even wars, even like the Afghan wars and stuff like that, people don't think about or talk about or even learn from those things. And that was like the early 2000s. Nobody talks about that shit anymore. And I guarantee you 20 years from now, it'll never be spoken about. Whereas it should be spoken about because people were dying and it's an awful thing and we shouldn't be killing people like that. Sorry, I'm going on a bit of a rant.
Yeah, no, you're right. Is that things do get forgotten about, despite the fact that they may have been so recent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, Afghan and all that sort of stuff. Osama bin Laden. When was the last time you heard someone talk about Osama bin Laden? Yeah, he was
very
the
true.
modern day Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Trump
And I
is
tell
like
a lie.
modern day Hitler, but like...
Bin Laden was mentioned in a Family Guy episode I watched yesterday.
Oh, it wasn't
So
the one with
that-
with the color sheet, is it?
Yeah.
That kills me. That kills me.
Absolutely hilarious. But that was the last time I heard Osama bin Laden's name.
What? Yeah. Well, that'll be. Well, and it's Family Guy. It's taking the piss. You
Yeah.
see what I mean?
Good
We're
old
not
Seth
even
MacFarlane.
thinking about it in like a oh, this was such a terrible thing to happen. It's like
Oh yeah, we're not looking at it in a historical or political way. We're just looking at it in the sense of comedy because it's from a animation, a comedy animated series.
Yeah, I mean,
Comedy.
I guarantee you that these previous civilizations and stuff didn't have racism whatsoever because everybody would have been mixed culture from thousands and thousands of years of just everybody crossing over and stuff like that. I mean, there's this whole theory that life actually started in America because we think life started in Africa, but there's like loads of stuff starting to say like originally they thought that people only turned up in the US like 13,000 years ago. But there's now been loads of recent studies to prove that people were in America 130,000 years ago, which would change our entire theory on like who we are, where we come from, like what do we stand for? That would change absolutely everything. Unfortunately, it's got to be in America.
You quoted like 3 lines from the musical Hamilton.
Did we?
In that sentence.
Yeah.
And it was just funny that you're talking about the history of America, and that is what Hamilton is about. And you've just quoted like 3 lines from it.
They're going to have to rewrite it soon, so they find out any more about the history of it. It's going to be set 130 years. Me, Hamilton, unga bunga.
No, I don't think that's quite the idea of the musical.
That would be great though. That film 10,000 BC, but the musical. I can show you a saber tooth, shining, shimmering, furry.
Caveman the musical. That's it. I'm writing it now.
That's it.
That's
Perfect.
it. That's my next project is writing Caveman the musical.
10,000 BC the musical. See, if that was a bait title, I'd say let's name the podcast that. But we need to name it something like WandaVision Fake, Atlantis Real, something. That's got to be like the title.
I am writing that one.
You're right.
I do quite like that one.
Oh, I've got something. I wrote down something the other day. What was it? Oh yeah. So Yates, right? I was playing Battlefront a little while ago, and this guy was playing Darth Sidious, right? And he killed the game, like beat everybody, whatever. Comes up at the end, and I see his name underneath the character. So you know on Battlefront, like all the characters come up in that sort of like V shape. You've got like who's fifth, fourth, third, second, first at the front. So you got Sidious standing there, and his name underneath was just Cheese Puff Mike. I just think that's the best nickname for Sidious ever. And I just
Why is it called that?
I've no idea, but I just think it's brilliant. All I
Why
can
not?
see is just this.
Why not?
Join the cheesy side, Luca. But yeah, Cheese Puff Mike, love that shit.
Cheese Puff Mike, well done. Well done for killing Ryan.
Then me and Chappers also thought that I'm going through all my notes now that you've said you were going to write that down. Chappers, you reminded me, but we want to recast.
Oh god, we could be here for another 3 hours if you could start going through your notes.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Recast Watchmen, the exact same story, but recast Watchmen with the Community.
Oh, this still makes me.
Characters.
I've currently got our picture
It
as
would
my
be
desktop,
so
by
good.
the way, Ryan.
Oh, is your desktop picture now? So
Yeah, it's just sat there. I love it.
So for anybody who hasn't watched Community, I would recommend just watch it. Just watch it. Community's so good. It's so
100%
different.
watch it. I would recommend it to literally anyone. I love it so
haven't
much.
seen it.
I've rewatched all
Have
of
you
it
not seen
about
it?
20 times.
I've not seen it.
Oh shit!
Have you
man.
not? Oh my
I've not
god.
seen
We can't
it.
we can't really
Yates,
explain
that is
any
like
of this.
right
man.
up your street as well.
It is, mate. It
I've
is. It's
seen
so up your
clips,
street.
but not
I reckon
enough.
you absolutely love it.
It's all on Channel 4, isn't it? Is it
No, it's all on Netflix now.
Oh, is it Netflix? Oh, I
Yeah,
guess it's Adult
I think-
Swim. They chop and change who's their supplier like all
Yeah.
the time.
They've just on Netflix. They've got all the episodes apart from one, which was deemed unsuitable
Oh yeah, the black
and racist. It was the
blackface.
first D&D episode they did and one of the characters is painted fully black to resemble a dark elf from D&D.
Yeah, it's
but people took it to offence, and they had to basically delete it from their
but it wasn't
stream. This is a
it wasn't
shame
as
because
soon
it
as
is a
the episode
very
come
funny
out.
episode.
Yeah. This was in that whole sort of like racist gate thing that was going on, where like every show that could be offensive in any way, shape, or form, people were like nitpicking at, like Faulty Towers or whatever it was. People wanted loads of Faulty Towers episodes to be taken offline and stuff, and John Cleese came out and said, "No, this was made in the 70s."
Yeah, it's like it's 40 years old.
Yeah, it's like what's
just
your problem?
deal with it.
Yeah,
comedy back then was so much different to what it is now.
That was a progressive show. That was a very progressive show back in the day, because it was so much about class and the fact that John Cleese's character Basil Fawlty wants to be a posh upper class establishment owner, and he can't be. And they have this fantastic episode
everything just starts to go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. They have this fantastic episode where this con man who's pretending to be a lord comes in, and all of a sudden Fawlty is the nicest guy on the planet, and he wants this guy to have the most lovely experience at his hotel and everything, because he's trying to climb into that upper class. And back then that didn't happen. You couldn't get into the class above. It was like landlocked. Nowadays,
you were one class or the other. Simple.
Yeah. Nowadays it's so much more about money, but back then it was about money and about heritage as well. You inherited being in first class. You know, no one just got up to first class unless you were middle class with a lot of money. Then your family became first class. But that was back then. Obviously nowadays, like, no one even really talks about class anymore. You know, because you can. I think
it's definitely more of a taboo now.
Yeah, I think in a way the American dream has sort of latched on to the world, and everybody thinks, you know, I can get my place, and I can get my money, and I can get my perfect little job, my perfect little family, all sorts of stuff. And it's so difficult to even get a house nowadays. I mean, I know people my age that are looking for houses and stuff at the moment. Obviously I'm not, but I know a few mates of mine that are, and the housing market is disgusting. It's disgusting. It keeps going up, but the national wage has only increased something like 0.6% since like 1985, but the housing market has gone up by like 75% or something ridiculous like that. So what are we supposed to do? We're all going to be living in trailer parks, like what's that bloody CGI game movie shitfest film?
What?
They all live inside VR. Simon Pegg's in it.
What, Ready Player One?
Yeah. God, I hate that film so much.
Oh, Ready Player One.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Simon Pegg was in that?
Yeah, he is, isn't he? Yeah.
What?
I don't know why.
Forgot.
I have no idea why.
Who was he in it?
Who was it?
He played the co-owner of the company.
Yeah, not the guy that created it, that sets up the
yeah, it was like his best mate. That they started it together. But when I first saw it, I knew instantly that Simon Pegg was only used as like
Simon Pegg,
a ploy.
Yeah, the same way they bring in Sigourney Weaver at the end of it's a Simon Pegg film at the end of forgetting all my movie titles now. The one with the alien. That's not Edgar
Paul.
Wright. Paul. Yeah. At the end of Paul,
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver turns up, doesn't she? And it's like classic because she's from Alien, blah blah blah.
But yeah, this is the thing. Simon Pegg in Ready Player One was only used because he's a big name, and that was how they were going to get people. Well, that and the fact that Spielberg.
It's Spielberg. I think him and Simon Pegg are quite good friends.
Definitely the worst Spielberg there is. Sorry, anyone that likes Ready Player One, but I think
terrible.
It was absolute dog shit.
Terrible. It's a nostalgia. It's like forcing nostalgia down your throat constantly. I remember the first time I saw it, and Tracer from Overwatch turned up. I was like, what?
And it was like,
what?
It wasn't even.
And then the
Ninja
Turtles and like Iron Giant and it just drove me up the wall.
The Iron Giant, that was a nice throwback though.
Yes, but then they used it in the poster for the film. It's like, it's not your content, Stephen. Stop it. You're like the Fine. It's like the Fine Bros trying to steal everybody's React videos. It's like, what? Why are you taking?
And at the same time, the story itself was just like a classic Spielberg story, like treasure hunt.
It really was.
Group of kids going on a treasure hunt.
It really is, isn't it?
Get the whatever, but put into like a modernized sort of post totalitarianist
Yeah, it is.
world.
It is. It's like
which just didn't fit whatsoever.
I think what he's also trying to do in that is make a film that's going to age well by having all this fantastic CGI and this forecast for the future sort of thing and all this sort of stuff. And in reality, I already think the CGI looks shit. It's only been out a couple of years.
Yeah.
Like,
I do definitely think it was an experiment for him to get into the CGI.
Bloody
game.
expensive experiment. And I think
Oh, yeah.
Spielberg is already in the CGI game.
But I mean, as much as I love Spielberg, and there are a lot of his classics that I will never forget. I do think just stick with the classics.
Yeah.
Can you stop singing E.T. to me? No, if we were sharing video for this, I'd edit in just a little.
Hang on.
Bike with E.T. going over your head.
Just cycling along.
Put the moon behind you.
Yeah, put the moon in front of me. I'll put the green screen up next time. We'll just I'll put the moon behind me.
We should just have Ryan.
Just cycling across. I'll happily be the logo for Frame of Mind. It would just be me pedaling around the moon.
Well, if anything, it would be me pedaling and you in the basket as ET.
Yeah, Yates would just be hanging off the spokes at the back. No, not the spokes.
Yates,
he's
Yates
skateboarding behind, doing a little ollie on the moon.
Or Yates can be the annoying little sister that dresses ET up.
Oh, does that mean I can dress Ryan up?
Yeah, you get to dress him up in like the ugliest dress.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. You've got to make me look fresh. What are you doing?
Sounds like a normal Saturday night.
Saturday night, and I like the way.
It's back.
Yeah, worst remix ever.
Okay, all right. Well, boys, tell me something, because I feel like most of this podcast has been me talking about bloody Atlantis and getting angry at WandaVision.
You're talking about like half an hour ago. So
in fact, me and Chap have both been going on for ages. Yates, tell us.
What would you like to know?
I don't know, mate.
What's been happening recently in the life of Yates?
Did you know the man that invented the frisbee? When he died, his family cremated him and turned him into a frisbee.
Is that true?
Fun fact.
Fun frisbee fact of the day.
Is that actually a fact?
Is that?
That is. What do you mean? Is that actually a fact? I just told you.
I don't know. Is it a fact or is it classic Yates bullshit? That's what I'm asking.
No, why would I make that up?
I mean, I don't know. But
I don't know.
Why would I make it up?
I don't know. I mean, knowing you.
Why would the family cremate him into a frisbee? That's the better question.
Who's gonna do it? The fucking the graveyard worker.
Why is anyone doing it?
Because he made the frisbee.
Yes, but the guy that didn't invent the Hoover didn't get put into a Hoover.
What? So the guy that invented the Hoover?
They just poured his ashes on the ground and went. And just hoovered him up.
Marley got turned into a joint, and his that was Tupac, wasn't it? Tupac got turned into a joint.
Tupac got turned into a joint.
His mate smoked him.
No.
Or Bob Marley.
No, they didn't.
I don't believe that for 1 second.
No, it does. I will Google it. I'm on it. I'm
looking at it now because
I just realised there's someone sat behind Yates. Who
did Tupac?
Did Tupac get smoked by his friends?
I think he did get smoked by his friends. Yeah, he got smoked with a pistol.
Tupac Shakur's ashes smoked. Check it out. There you go. Siri said it himself.
Just so you know, Tupac did get smoked by his friends, unfortunately.
Whoa. That's not funny, mate.
It's not funny. He died.
Man died.
Too soon.
Oh yeah, yeah. That is legit.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
they smoked him.
What else do you want to know?
Tupac's group, the Outlaws, smoked his ashes.
That's so weird.
I'd smoke you, Ryan.
Do you think Biggie Smalls would make more ash than Tupac?
What, because he's bigger?
Yeah.
Probably, mate. If you burn something bigger, there's probably more ashes, isn't there?
That's what I was thinking, but like, I don't know.
If you burn a building...
Oh, this is quite interesting.
I think the building's going to produce more ashes than the rabbit.
Yeah, probably, but what if you put both of them in an incinerator for the same amount of time?
I think that's
there wouldn't be anything left of the rabbit, to be fair. Not even ash. You put a rabbit into an incinerator for a person, I don't imagine.
I don't know much about incinerators, sorry.
We took a very
You're asking too
morbid
many-
turn here. Thanks, Josh. I'm not going to ask you ever again. For
Hey, were my facts true?
I must say, I'm actually finding this quite interesting.
As you're looking
Given
at
us a bit of a
Tupac.
research.
Brilliant.
So basically, if you listen to Black Jesus, in that
Is
it
that,
says.
Sorry, is that his?
That's
I thought that was his nickname.
Kanye's.
I thought his nickname.
No,
was
sorry.
Jesus.
The song. In that he says, "Last wishes, N-word, smoke my ashes."
Nice.
N-word.
Like, I didn't feel it appropriate to say.
No, that's
so.
fine. That's
You
absolutely
started
fine.
rapping it.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, yo! Chappers proper gets into it. Oh, mate, that is funny.
Yeah, I
Oh,
can't believe
dude.
that. We should do that with you, Ryan.
What? Put me in a spliff and smoke me?
Yeah, we'll put you in
We can do
a
that.
joint and
Yeah,
smoke you.
only- but if
it would
you
make
die
a very
first-
small joint.
If you die first, yeah, it's
Yeah.
only a half. It's only
Yeah.
if you die before I do, I'm going to put you in a bottle of Baileys and throw you out of Essex Beach seaside. I don't even know Essex, Colchester. There we go.
Well, okay, you're wrong immediately because
Clacton.
Colchester doesn't have a beach.
Does it not? Is it landlocked?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It has a castle.
Clacton then.
Yeah, Clacton is where I live, yes.
Yeah, I'll put you in a Bailey's bottle and yeet you off
Right.
the beach.
Why
Yeet
Baileys?
me off
Because
the
he
beach.
loves
Irish
Baileys.
cream.
I do love Baileys.
Yeah.
I drink Baileys a lot.
Yeah, and I love Spliff.
Yeah.
So that's where the correlation comes from. Yates!
Ah.
So what are we
What?
going to do if Yates dies? What are we going to do?
Nothing. I don't really like him.
We'll just leave him to rot there with his
Good. I don't want
with his
to-
I'm
painted
just going to leave
skateboard.
that up to Lloyd. Lloyd can deal with him. I don't mind.
Lloyd can deal with my body.
Yeah, I'd do a lot with it, I would imagine. Right,
Oh,
good Roger in.
right. Lloyd, what would you do with my body if I died? Come on. Slowly feed me to the lizards.
Nice.
Slowly feed me, or you just feed me over.
What
a
in
course
like
of time?
one go, like just very gradually pushing.
I mean, they're not very big lizards. He's
I mean,
chopping
you
me
could
up.
probably feed the. I mean, they're bearded dragons, aren't they?
No, not that big.
No,
They're
he
aggressive
is.
No.
geckos.
Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, the geckos, aren't they? The tiny little things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're gonna-
So
they're gonna
you
feed
could
me
probably
for years.
feed it for like a good few years, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't know if that's healthy.
I don't know.
yeah, probably
I don't know.
not. I mean, what do
What
they
do they
normally
eat?
eat?
They have what do they have? What they call crickets.
Oh
Every night.
yeah.
Yeah, it's usually insects, isn't it?
You'd have
But
to
I
cut-
mean,
Yeah.
You have to cut
You
you
could
up
prob-
pretty
you could
small.
probably-
fruit as well.
you could probably wean them onto meat. I don't think it's impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Tell you what, if anyone out there has pet geckos or a lizard or anything and has tried feeding them meat,
So I'm trying
Um,
human.
Try
meat.
feeding them human.
Yeah. To clarify, because they might be
Okay,
alright with
okay,
eating a
yeah,
bit
human.
of bacon. They might be
Yeah.
alright with bacon and chicken.
Yeah. I mean, if not human, then try feeding it like a sausage or
pretty
No, we
close.
give them. Oh yeah,
Or
that's true.
bacon or
No, we
something.
should probably
Right.
Google it.
I don't know. Someone let me know. I'm interested.
Let me know. Contact us at. We haven't made an email address or an Instagram or anything yet. We probably should do that. We'll do that for the next episode.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
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 Okay.
Stay tuned for social media links.
Yeah. What'll happen is I'll just pop up at the end and just go. We've made it now. There we go. Stick it in here. No shout out or anything.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
We
Well,
can
I
fix it
think-
in post.
I think we've recorded a fat amount of chat, boys.
We have.
So
We have. We are just over an hour.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Thank you very much for listening. I hope whoever is listening enjoyed it. Have a good rest of your week. These boys will probably say goodbye at some point. I'm waiting for it.
Don't.
Oh, I was waiting for you to finish your
No, I thought you were going to
outro.
sort of come in and go,
You're
yeah,
having a
have a good-
monologue
let's
here.
have a
Sounded
good
like
one.
you were saying
No,
something.
Yeah, no,
camaraderie, boys, not just.
Look, it's hard to know when you're going to stop talking.
Yeah, same.
Ah,
So yeah,
yeah.
we will get better at this. I guarantee.
My name
Will
is
we?
Dr. Ryan Lubbock,
I'm not planning on it.
PhD, ADHD.
I don't think you
CUNT.
can disclaim that. No, I don't
That's
think
not true.
you can
You're a
disclaim
liar.
that.
What?
You're a liar and a
What? That
fiend.
I've got a PhD or an ADHD?
Both.
Because
I've definitely got one of them.
a PhD. He's got a PhD.
I got a pretty huge donkey out the back. I got him.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah. Right. See you later, everybody.
Right.
Adios!
That's it from us. Bye.
Bada bing, bada boom. What you gonna do?